Hello, horror heads, and welcome to the show. I'm very happy about this week's episode because it featured a movie that is one of my favorite horror comedies, and I always like having an excuse to watch it again. It was suggested by our friend Ivan, who actually joins us to give his thoughts on it, and we always love having a chat with him. He's not a super horror fan, but he is a big fan of this movie, and he's an all-around good dude, so we certainly enjoy having him on. So, with all that being said, let's begin. My name is Sheldon, and this is The Graveyard Shift, Horror with Sheldon and Mike. Begin theme song at the sound of the tone. Beep. Welcome to episode 24 of The Graveyard Shift, where each week we watch a movie from the horror category and tear into it like a horde of zombies on a fat guy. We'll talk about the plot, some production details, what we liked, what we didn't like, plus maybe something fun. If we're in the mood, that is. And yes, I said we because no one wants to go through the zombpocalypse alone. Please say hello to the guy that started stockpiling Twinkies after watching this movie, my co-host Mike.
Hey everybody, how's it doing?
Hi Mike, how are you today, my good sir?
Well, obviously a little discombobulated from my introduction. It has been an exhausting month. But we came through Shocktober with flying colors. Basically did a month-long Christmas for this podcast, as well as the taste test. And it was all really fun. In fact, it was so much fun having you on the taste test that I decided, let's migrate someone else here. And so we brought Ivan.
No, stop. No names. I don't want to get attached here.
Okay, so we brought New York here. Say hi, New York.
Hello.
Okay, so we decided we need a little help on this one because this is going to be hard without saying your name.
All right, fine. Hi, everyone. I'm Ivan.
Hi, Ivan. How are you today?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for having me on the show.
Oh, it's great. Like me, no problem. You suggested a great movie, and since we've all been friends and talking a lot lately, we decided it only seemed natural to have you on the show with us. And good choice with your movie, by the way. Thoroughly enjoyed this one. And since we're already talking about it, Mike, why don't you tell everyone what we got for him this week?
Today's episode is called Woody's Wild Ride, because we watched dun 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 Zombieland.
Awesome. Yes, Ivan, great choice. Ivan, I gotta say too, man, you're becoming a pro at podcast guesting. You've been on Mike's other podcasts a few times, both on the regular show plus the taste tests, and now we have you here. So tell me, why are you such a glutton for punishment?
I just can't get enough of the velvety sound of Mike's voice.
Oh, that must be it.
No, I love the show. I love The Graveyard Shift, and heard that one zombie episode. I'm blanking on the Train to Busan, was it?
Train to Busan, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I heard that one a while back, and it got me thinking doing a Zombieland would make for a really fun episode. I'm glad you guys decided to let me on for it.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you wanted to do this movie because I love it. It's one of my favorite horror comedies. But I got to ask, of all the movies you could have picked, what made you go with this one?
Well, I have to confess, I'm not a true horror fan.
Gasp.
I don't have the horror cred that most of your guests have had.
Blasphemy.
I'm the kid that got invited to the 4th grade birthday party. They put on Nightmare on Elm Street, and I was gone 10 minutes later. Just couldn't take it.
Mom, pick me up. Pick me up, Mom. Yeah. There's this guy that got blended by his own bed.
I had no idea she was recording that, yeah. Pretty much. So, but I recently got into the zombie subgenre. I was poking around Netflix, saw Walking Dead, and oddly enough liked it. Started watching other movies like World War Z. Yeah, what was that? I Am Legend with Will Smith. And along the way, I found Zombieland, which really meshed my rather ironic appreciation for the zombie subgenre with my more genuine appreciation of comedies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this one's a good mix for sure. So, Mike, without going into too much detail, because we will definitely be doing that in a little bit, what do you think of this one?
I absolutely loved it. It struck all the right chords with me. It just furthered my crush on Emma Stone. And I saw her in Superbad, just thought this kid's funny. And then I saw her in this one, and I'm just like, yeah, definitely talent.
Yeah.
Funny, cute.
Still very young in this one, too. I think she was only 20 or 21 when it was made.
Yeah, I guess she would be, because this movie is what, like
2009.
Yeah, 8 years old now. So yeah, that would be about right. Okay, so before we start getting into what makes this movie so good, here are some facts about Zombieland. Zombieland is an R-rated American apocalyptic comedy horror starring Jesse Eisenberg, Woody Harrelson, Emma Stone, and Abigail Breslin. It was released in October of 2009. It had a budget of $23.6 million and had a box office return of approximately $102.4 million. So it did okay. That number, of course, does not include home video sales and rentals, because in 2009, we were still renting movies from video stores. Just not enough of us, obviously. It has a Rotten Tomatoes score of 90% from critics and 86% from audience scores, and both are well-deserved. As for the plot, if you're not already aware, a geeky college kid is trying to reach his family in Ohio, meets up with a gun-toting tough guy and a pair of sisters, and join forces to travel across a zombie-filled America. Okay, so guys, I really want to talk about this one, so let's chow down.
Oh, hold on, I got a bit of trivia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to add my own little bit of trivia.
Yeah,
the,
go for it.
The uncredited guy we see running the gas and gulp, which is the guy that got conned by the girls with the wedding ring scan, as well as the guy that disobeyed the rule of being wary of bathrooms, is Mike White. He was a writer for Nacho Libre, School of Rock, and he was also the guy in School of Rock with Sarah Silverman as her boyfriend.
Yeah, he was Jack Black's roommate, right? Or his best friend that he was crashing with.
Yeah, the teacher that he impersonated to get that job in the school. He was also the writer of the movie. So that was cool. And also, as I discovered, as I watched this on my DVD, which I actually have a physical copy of this movie. I'm not a complete pirate. And the Easter eggs on this feature 2 slow-mo clips which were dull and, in my opinion, not funny, but they did have excellent music. So that's all the trivia I've got to bring.
Awesome.
I've got a little bit of trivia.
Oh,
Ooh,
please do.
Speaking of writers, Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick, writers on this movie, were also writers on Deadpool.
Awesome.
All right. Well,
I can believe it with that beautiful blend of violence and hilarity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not I didn't know that, but it's not a total shock. that's for sure.
Yeah.
I got some personal trivia about this. This movie was actually the very first movie that I saw with my wife in the theater.
You're good.
Yeah, this is where we went on our first movie date to see Zombieland.
That shouldn't surprise me.
That's how you know she's a keeper.
Definitely,
That's right.
yeah. That's what I based our entire relationship on, how she was going to react to a zombie movie.
Yeah. Ironically, mine was Scary Movie.
Oh.
Which, ironically, is not scary.
Yeah. But it was very funny.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
Well, yeah, it wasn't so bad considering how much worse it got.
Well, yeah, I wasn't talking about the sequels. But the first one I enjoyed a lot.
Mm-hmm. So, Ivan, seeing as this was your pick, how about you go first? Tell me something that you liked about this movie in particular.
Well, I know that this isn't going to be covered, so I made a particular point to make this note. The credits.
Ah!
I love the slow motion montage of the text of the credits getting casually destroyed by vomit or by a club or whatever. And it's even gotten, I know this is, I'm sorry to bring this up. I know this isn't this kind of podcast, but bleeding breasts. I mean, not 5 minutes into the movie, we've already got our requisite breast shot.
Yep.
Bleeding out the nipples. Yep. Awesome. Anyway, I'm sorry. I know you guys don't like to go there.
Those are tassels in the strip club, but good try.
No, you got to rewatch it. That was blood coming out the nipples for sure.
Hey, who
In a
hasn't had
stringy
blood?
ribbon.
Who hasn't had blood coming out their nipples at some point?
Well, that's how you
Yeah.
know you're done feeding.
But yeah, that you caught me off guard there because I actually have my notes. Leave the credits for Mike.
My goal was to completely subvert it and just be like, I was actually hoping Ivan was going to mention them so I could be like, dude, just, I mean, like, come on, let's get to the movie. Like, fuck the introduction.
Yeah. Well, since you brought it up, I'm going to go next because Mine Ties is part of that opening. That is a freaking epic opening. The slow motion zombie scenes with different things crashing through the credits, which one of my personal favorites, the firefighter crashing through the credits while being chased by a zombie that's on fire. That's
Yeah.
with another firefighter just like spraying away some of the credits in the background.
Yeah.
And of course pair those credits and those opening slow motion scenes with For Whom the Bell Tolls by Metallica. I mean, come on.
Oh.
That was just a perfect fit. I don't know if I've seen a better song fit with the opening to a movie. It was just unbelievable. That was when the movie got me, right there, right from the credits. I was pretty much confirmed that I was going to love this one.
Yeah, and it makes you wonder, like, what we're looking at, these, like, all these segments, this movie could have been an anthology, just revolving around these people. The firefighter, I mean, like, there's stories there, like, with a guy running with a briefcase full of money while this car explodes. Like, why is this car exploding? It's not plowing into a teenager that kind of looks like Michael Myers.
It's in movie world, man. You know how easily things explode in movies?
It's like, if you walk away from a car and look while looking away from it, it will explode.
Yeah, it was
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was just going to agree. It was an excellent opening.
Oh, yeah.
I really enjoyed it as well.
Definitely. So, Mike, now that we've pulled the credits carpet out from underneath you, what do you got on your likes list?
I'm okay with being the punching bag or being sniped as long as it serves comedy, and I can go along with this.
He's saying that now, Ivan, but I could hear him die a little inside when you brought up the credits.
I gotta go with
on my end. There was an audible. I don't have my credits. What do I have?
I mean, I finally had a movie with credits everyone can agree are worth mentioning.
I know.
This was my moment to shine.
I was hoping you'd kick it to me first.
I even put it in my notes. Let Ivan go first.
Oh, we didn't even rehearse this. This was just beautiful symmetry, and that's part of what makes this show great. Like the fact that we just get each other. So my second is the rules. We see them before the credits. We see them after the credits. The way that they're always like interacting or moving along. Like, I like kinetic typography, and we get it in this movie. Mm-hmm. And I just love it. They all seem to make sense. Like, always wear your seatbelts just in case you need to crash your car and send a zombie out the window. And always check for bathrooms. Like these are sensible rules. Although I think Like, being an overweight white guy, I think the cardio rule might... I mean, I wouldn't outrun them. I'd realize, like, I can't outrun these things. I take my chances and fight. Chances are I'd get buff doing that if I manage to maintain a flawless bite record.
Mm-hmm. Crucial detail.
Yeah. Hey, I just before we started recording, I sprinted down my dog, so I'm doing all right.
If you can catch animals, you're in good cardio. You pass. Okay, so Ivan, I guess it goes back to you now. Another like.
Well, tit for tat, you sniped me on my second, so well done.
Speaking of tits and tats,
Right.
well, no, we already mentioned the stripper scene. Never mind.
Okay, so I guess Ivan, that takes you that just bumps you to your third like then.
Yeah. I liked, it's kind of a minor detail, but the song when Columbus is in the car after he's fleeing the zombie from the bathroom. Just another example of the movie just having the oddest dichotomy. You know, life or death situation, zombie right in your face, and you've got this smooth jazz. Chuck Mangione feels good. Just delicious contradiction there.
I think all those Mangione fans need to hear us corrected too. Feels so good.
Feels so good.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
We do not need that kind of hate mail from those temperamental, slow, easy listening jazz fans.
Do you think it was on purpose that that song is playing while he's talking about how he just crapped his pants?
Feels so good.
Doesn't feel that great, actually.
Oh, really? There's a story there. Do tell.
Oh man, let me tell you, there could be a couple of stories there.
Hold on, this isn't the Pulling My Power podcast, all right?
Oh, that's yeah.
Save the Dookie stories for your next appearance.
I won't get into any details. We'll say one story involves a baseball bat to the stomach,
Okay.
and one involves a lesson about why you shouldn't take muscle relaxers and go swimming. So yeah, I'll let you guys figure the rest of that out.
This isn't the scene from Caddyshack I wanted to reenact. Why couldn't I be blowing up gophers instead of this?
The next like I have on my list kind of ties in with some of the stuff we've already talked about. It's about Mike. You mentioned the survival rules popping up and actually like being on screen, like in these huge in this huge font. And then Ivan, you mentioned about the odd music placement and things. So, I'm not going to go into details, like point out like specifics with what I have on my list, but just the comedy in this one in general. They didn't take themselves seriously. They could have tried taking themselves seriously, but I think the movie would have suffered for that if they went that route. They knew, they said we're going to make our comedy silly and just run with it. And if we want to put something in that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, then we'll just do it. And I've got an appreciation for that. It doesn't always work out. Like, a lot of people try that, like go the silly comedy route. It doesn't always work, but this one was very effective.
Yeah, there has to be an intelligence to your silly chaos.
Oh, yes, of course.
Right, you got to walk that fine line, that balance. You don't want it to be too silly because then you're not taking the danger seriously.
Yeah.
Or you get a movie that's all about gags and shit without any suspense at all, like a certain Halloween movie we reviewed recently.
And we'll never speak of it again.
Or, well, two movies that we reviewed for Halloween that focused on gags and garbage instead of actual suspense and thrills.
I swear to God,
Yeah.
in October, I must have said the word Halloween about 3 million times. Holy shit.
Well, that's what happens when you do a horror podcast. Every day in October becomes Halloween.
Too much of a good thing?
Yep.
Yeah, I have the same mental feeling as I get physically after keeping all the the good trick or treat candies for myself, and then binging on them, and then realizing, they're bite sized and small for a reason, so that you only eat a few, not the equivalent of 3 or 4 regular size bars.
Okay, so Ivan, I think it falls back to... No, Mike. I think it falls to you. What do you got next on your list?
Tallahassee. Everything about this guy. I mean, the way that they describe him. He's in the ass-kicking business, and business is good. And then nut up or shut up. And then describing him as the man who sets the standard for not to be fucked with. And then when he takes the banjo to that redneck and goes, "Hey, you got a pretty mouth." And then he finds the Hummer full of guns and ammo, and he's like, "Thank God for rednecks." And then basically, and then he talks about his dog, Buck, which, in a... to show that he's not just like a gag relief, that there's some emotional core to him, we find out who Buck is. Mm-hmm. And then we go back to him being a ballistic Looney Tunes psychopath when he basically when he goes to Pacific Playland and takes on all the rides and adds his own specific flavor.
Yeah.
And his love for a certain character who we will describe later.
Yeah, Tallahassee was an awesome character. Again, balancing two things you wouldn't think to put together: this real tough guy, this badass, and also this incredibly immature child. The point where he's standing on the Cadillac, or not the Cadillac, the other car, screaming, "I want my caddy back!"
Yeah.
Or sitting in the car, "I'm not going to go with you to Pacific Playland." Just, again, I really enjoyed. You had, one side tough and the other side just simpleton.
Yeah, you expect him to be like, with the tactics he employs against zombies, you'd expect him to be like the king of the apocalypse. And then you find out that he's just too spastic to have any sort of structure or reign or dominion at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And right from the beginning, one of his first lines was like, "Okay, stop. Now, I'm not easy to get along with, and I can already tell you're a bit of a bitch."
Yeah, that actually brings me to one of my other likes. I liked how they kept it abstract. When they make it a point until the very end, nobody has a real name.
Yeah.
It's all 406 and Tallahassee.
Mm-hmm.
You're not engaging with them on that personal level. I appreciated that.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. Yeah, I like that. And I'll just put this in too, because it just since we're on the topic of Tallahassee, I liked even though it was incredibly sad, I liked the revelation of Woody Harrelson's son's death. Like when he's talking about his pup, Buck, and I mean when they're thinking about it, like you're actually seeing a puppy, and you don't realize until much later in the movie that certain things he says doesn't make sense, and then he realizes he's not talking about a puppy, he's talking about his son. Yeah. And man, the first time I saw that, that made me tear up so much.
Yeah, I have to say I had that on my dislikes just for that reason. I identified with it too much, with got children of my own.
Exactly.
But in terms of the movie itself, I did appreciate how it developed the character.
Yeah.
It gave him a different dimension.
Yeah, it hit me pretty hard at the time too, because so at this time my son would have been about a year old at the time, and when that clicked, I was already sad when he's talking about his dog. I'm like, oh, his dog died. Right. The zombies killed his dog. That's terrible. Like that.
Mike, you got any more likes?
Yeah, Emma Stone. Excellent. She was. I'm not gonna be all creepy pervy, because she wasn't super sexy in this. She just had an excellent character as someone who saw everybody as as a target for her to manipulate, and just not respecting anybody. And you realize that like she's also got this inability to trust people, because as much as she wants to be in control, you realize that she has to like be in control of every part of her life. And opening up to anybody would mean giving up that control. So she'd rather keep everyone at a distance or just play them.
Right.
So we get to see her portray like a damaged, manipulative character, as well as some great comedy relief.
I appreciated how that extended to before the zombie apocalypse. You mentioned before that one gas station attendant who ends up getting killed in the bathroom. That scene, and outside of further establishing her as a con artist, I appreciated that it established her as, her and Little Rock on their own. They don't give a crap about anybody. They're going to do what it takes to survive. They're already in the apocalypse before the apocalypse.
Yeah. And you had a feeling that was going to come back into play, like, afterwards as well, right? That you hadn't seen the end of those two, like, kind of being just taking care of each other.
Mm-hmm.
So, I've just got one more. I could say a lot more things, but I've got one more, and I think everyone's going to agree with this. Bill Murray playing himself.
Yes.
Now, I know it was like a bit of, I'm hoping anyway, a little bit more of an exaggerated version of himself, but for better or worse, playing himself. When he showed up in this, I almost lost my shit. When it kicked...
Especially when we thought that, like, oh, Bill Murray's going to be zombie Bill Murray.
Yeah.
And then we find out, no, he's okay.
Yeah, not only that, but going along with everything you'd want Bill Murray to be in real life. He's getting high with them. He's ghost busting with them. That was awesome.
And then he gave someone else the jumpsuit in the proton pack.
Yeah.
He's just like, you can wear it. You're my guest.
I'll
You
even
can do
call
that.
you. I'll even call you Pete.
and I'll use the vacuum. Like he's just that giving.
And Woody Harrelson uttering the line that you'd never ever say to any celebrity you ever meet, "I've been a fan of yours since I was old enough to masturbate."
And emphasizing that those two are not connected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seeing Tallahassee lose his shit.
Yeah.
In a way that you haven't seen him before. Like that he's also like a big gushing fanboy.
It's funny too that since they've done at least one movie together.
Was that Tin Cup?
Kingpin.
Oh,
the bowling movie, right?
Oh, right.
It was some sports movie I haven't seen.
Yeah, it was the bowling movie, where they were both like bowling prodigies.
Huh. The only bowling movie I saw was Big Lebowski.
Yep, that's Kingpin is definitely not as good as Big Lebowski, but it's worthwhile checking out. It has enough of its moments that I would recommend it.
Yeah, everything Bill Murray did, like
even
when he's
even dying,
he was so freaking good.
That
my
was
bad.
Probably the funniest scene in the movie because, first of all, okay, kids, don't do drugs because it makes you do things like if you find yourself in a zombie apocalypse, you think what would be a funny prank is dressing up like a zombie and scaring someone.
And when he's dying, do you have any regrets, Garfield?
Yeah.
And Emma Stone is laughing at him as he's dying. He's doing the death rattle.
Yeah.
Well, like, even as he's dying, he's just like, okay, I'm dying and this has backfired on me, but I got one more gag to do. The longest death exhalation ever.
He goes through the longest death rattle and then inhales, takes a big breath, and starts doing it again.
and even the stinger that they have post credits, where Woody's just like cradling, got his hand on his chest, and he's just like, do you have any last words? In the immortal words of help me out, Bill. And then he just does that. Then he does that voice. In the words of the immortal philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre, au revoir, Gopher.
Yeah, excellent cameo.
Yeah, one of the best movie cameos ever.
For sure.
Okay, I got just 2 more likes, but I'll Ivan, do you have any more?
Yeah, as long as we're giving love to Woody Harrelson's performance and Emma Stone, Bill Murray, of course, I got to give a little love to Jesse Eisenberg. I thought he really sold the character, coming out as a nerdy, extremely nervous, uncertain guy.
Mm-hmm. A neurotic loner.
A neurotic, loner college kid. And, in kind of...
You mean a college kid.
Well, at least the kind of college kid I was. I don't know about you guys, but...
No, I'm right there with him.
Yeah, I thought he sold that well, and sold reasonably well the gradual toughening up and maturing of the character over the course of the movie.
Yeah, he developed. That was good.
Yeah, I thought he was excellent.
Mm-hmm. Yep, not bad. Despite the fact that I felt throughout the entire movie it was just Jesse Eisenberg doing a Michael Cera impersonation, but...
Dude, can I confess something? I couldn't tell these people apart for 8 years.
Yeah. One of the things I took away from this movie, actually, after watching it, I was like, I think Michael Cera was available. They could have just got him.
I thought this guy was Michael Cera when I first saw this movie.
Because they even have similar looks, at least he did at the time, right?
The fact that even though they're probably in their 30s or nearing 40, they could still pass for 18.
Yeah.
Actually, he was only 26 when this movie was made.
Oh, yeah, so he was only 10 years older than he,
reasonably close to the age he was portraying.
Yeah, I mean,
5 years older.
He would have, he was playing somebody that was early 20s, so.
Yeah.
And one thing I loved, the soundtrack from beginning to end, all the music here was fantastic. It all tied in with the scenes, and it was just excellent music.
Mm-hmm.
Very effective in whatever it was trying to do.
Yep. And just the senseless destruction that they have. Forget trying to preserve the world or build it. They're fine, being we will be the last people. We're not gonna... It's not on us to rebuild society. But since no one else is going to be enjoying this, fuck it all, let's burn it down.
Enjoy the little things.
Oh,
by smashing every big thing.
I see what you did there. Okay, anything else?
Just when he confronted his big fear at the end, a clown and a zombie, and he gets his big moment of testicular fortitude and says, "Fuck this clown."
Yeah, that was good.
Good death too. Picked up the friggin' test your strength hammer and just started wailing on him.
You give him a mallet to the nuts, and then when he came down, all right, now time to go for the other head.
So
and the fact that he even gave that honk
when he
landed on his head.
Yeah, that was good.
Just the gore in this movie was amazing.
Yeah.
Every time, they kicked a zombie off, what's that lift that they're on? The Superman lift?
I don't know. There's depending on what it has a different name depending on what theme park you go to.
Yeah, so when they throw a zombie off that, you see him fall and flail, and then one guy, as the thing comes down, he gets chopped up in the girders.
Yeah.
Just the blatant gore was phenomenal.
That was the last thing that I had on my list for my likes was the movie didn't have a lot of gore. It wasn't extremely graphic or anything, but what they had was very well done. Starting off, even the simple things at the beginning when you saw a few people get bitten when the zombies are tearing flesh off.
Right.
It was very well done. The scenes like you said, some of the zombie deaths, especially in the at the final scene in the amusement park, they were all like very, very effectively done. So yeah, credit to the special effects guys. Like, they kept it simple but very effective.
Oh, and if you have the DVD, like I do, there's an effects reel in one of the special features where you get to see what they did with the actors and what they added with the computers. It's really worth seeing what was real and what was fake.
I've got the DVD. I should check that out. I don't think I've looked at any of the special features on this. So
you definitely should.
Well, one of us takes this show seriously.
Oh, you shut your bitch mouth.
Hey, even your guest watched that. What are you doing, Sheldon? I mean, come on.
I'll fight both of you.
You're slipping.
No, they did do a very good job with the special effects in this movie. It helped sell the zombie apocalypse,
Yeah.
not just the comedy aspect of it.
So, anyone else have anything something special that you want to point out about this one that you really liked, or can we move on?
Yeah, I'm ready to move on.
Okay.
I'm good to move on.
All right. So this one was a little tougher, but I'm sure we can find enough to have a decent list. Dislikes. What we didn't like about this movie. If you guys don't mind, I'll kick it off.
Sure.
I know Tallahassee's thing was about finding Twinkies, and this is another movie where you do have to have a suspension of disbelief here. But if you're in a zombpocalypse, would you really leave a truckload of food laying there? Even if it's something you didn't really care for example, a truck full of Hostess snowballs?
If that food is coconut, fuck it, move on.
Really? Like, you wouldn't be...
Oh, come on. Those are delicious.
I'd rather eat the tire than those fucking snowballs.
This is the thing. I guess, like, it leads into a bigger point.
Coconut is what you put on food if you don't want anyone to eat it. It's like a social preservative.
Are you like Tallahassee? It's not the taste, it's the consistency?
That's a good line.
Oh, it's like eating fucking shredded crap. It's terrible.
I'm okay.
Coconut hardly has a flavor. It's just you're chewing up these it's like this pulpy garbage.
I'm okay with coconut.
God.
Like, it's not one of my go-to things, but I don't have a problem with it. But I'm just kind of using that to illustrate a bigger point. They don't seem very concerned about, like, conserving supplies or picking up supplies or rationing or anything. Considering that they're in as far as they know, they could be the only humans actually left alive.
Right.
Yeah, and he's wasting ammo, just like shooting shit in the sky.
Ammo, leaving, like I said, wasting ammo, leaving a truckload of food behind. I think Columbus took like one package of snowballs and put one in his pocket. And there's literally a truckload. And
yeah, forget the rest. We're not gonna be hungry.
Don't worry about gas. Let's just pile into this Hummer and literally
no gas canisters, no siphoning.
Yeah, like, they didn't seem very concerned about it. And like I said, I'm trying not to pick on this movie too much because we already established they're not trying to take this thing serious. That was just something that always bothered me from the first time I saw that movie. I'm like, are you kidding? Grab a box of those things at least.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I'm having trouble calling snowballs.
Fine.
Food.
If we're in the zombpocalypse, you don't get any of my snowballs.
Yeah, you can keep those to yourself. I'll look for real food.
Yeah. You'll be eating your arm in like 2 days.
At least it won't have coconut on it.
I'll put some coconut on it just to piss you off.
That's right. That way you get to eat Mike's arm when you run out of food.
Coconutty.
Mike.
So Mike, tell me, since you're trying to shit all over my snowballs, tell me something. Wow, that sounds really bad.
This isn't the Playing with Power podcast, Sheldon.
John,
this is the graveyard shift.
Right, 2 girls, 1 cup time here.
God damn it! Just tell me something you didn't like about this movie, Mike.
Okay. Anything to keep you from talking. I gotta say, the girls' plan when they first meet these guys is fucking terrible. And it's not because they took advantage of two idiots. It's just that if they bumped into me, and the second they said this girl's been bit, I would have blasted her head off with a fucking shotgun right then and there. And Emma Stone would be screaming and coming at me, just like screaming, going ballistic, and I would have killed her too. So, like, this is just a terribly risky plan. You have to, like, it really is predicated on the fact that these guys would trust a complete stranger with their own gun to maybe kill someone who isn't showing an actual bite.
Yeah, and for that matter, what were they tailing them? Were they just hiding out in the grocery store waiting for some real humans to come along so they could scam them, get their weapons? I mean,
yeah, like you tell someone's been bit, you have to, like, again, I would have just been, oh, she's going to die, bang. Like, I wouldn't have asked anything else after that.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. Like, that's I never really thought about that, but you did bring it up. You brought up a good point. Like, where they happened to just, like, was it just happenstance that they happened to go into that supermarket at the same time and be there at the same time? And if the girls were already there, like, they were just going to hang out there and let those zombies wander around and hope that somebody shows up, or did they see these guys heading there and they went in the back? That scene is not very well explained, I guess.
Yeah, it was a little bit awkward.
Yeah. All right, good one. Okay, so what's next?
Well, I'll go next.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't entirely buying the scene with 406. I mean, I understand it was necessary for plot exposition, getting you understanding just how much of a loner dork Columbus was, but I'm not really buying that if I got some homeless guy that was coming at me and I get inside to my building, that I'm not just going straight to my place. I mean,
yeah,
it's supposed to be right next door. Why in the world was she hurriedly banging on his door instead?
Mm-hmm.
And then when
I got attacked by a strange man, so I'm going to seek shelter with a strange man.
Right. And to that point, she's freaking out. She's upset, which seems all normal in that situation anyway. And then, good night. I'm going to snuggle up. I just, straight, crying to...
Yeah. I'm not going to treat this bite.
It was a little bit... It wasn't smooth enough anyway for my taste.
No, it was.
And again, how slow is she? Where she couldn't even bite a sleeping Jesse Eisenberg. Like, he should have woken up to her nibbling his hand.
Yeah,
and
that's part of the stretching or suspending disbelief.
Yeah, that was. And did she say because I had to go back and play that scene a few times. She said that the homeless guy tried to bite her. She didn't actually say that she got bitten, right? So...
Right.
Yeah.
Operative word, tried.
Yeah.
Yeah, she said a guy tried to bite me. You'd think she would have said, he bit me, and then she would show her arm or her leg with, like, some teeth marks in it, and then he would be like, okay, I'm going to go get some peroxide. And then she turns, like, as soon as he gets the cloth and the peroxide and the alcohol, he turns around, and then she's already wide-eyed and trying to bite him. That would have made sense.
Yeah, that would
have saved the scene.
Yeah, that would have helped.
Yep, good point. So, the only thing that I have on my dislikes list, and it kind of ties in again to the sisters.
They're as much as we want to like them for their spunk, they're not. They're not good people. They're not good thinkers either.
Well,
for a bunch of con artists, they're really stupid.
I understand that the sisters had a goal. I understand that, but if you're in the middle of a zombpocalypse and you find yourself in a secure and well-stocked mansion, do you really leave to go to an amusement park? And
and to that end, did they not know that zombies would be attracted to bright lights and loud sounds?
I know, really.
Or would you at least lock up the gates so they can be like, we're going to turn this shit on. We are aware this is going to ring some dinner bells, but we are going to chain up and secure every exit, and then we're going to have our fun, and we will have a plan to get past the horde of zombies that will be at the gates, because these things will hear and see us.
Yeah, like, and they acted so surprised when, like, they noticed that the place is filling up full of zombies. I'm like, really? Yeah. You're surprised that this place that's, like, lit up like a nuclear power plant and is blasting rock music over, like, one of the loudest fucking PA systems I've ever heard.
If you can hear it from literally miles away, it's kind of loud. And again, you left the gates open.
And then, like, strap yourself. First of all, how exactly did they think they were going to get off this ride? Because usually these amusement parks, from what I've noticed, that they require somebody, like, not on the ride to operate them, to turn them on and
timers. Off. That's what I wrote down, but I took it off because I thought it would be too anal. But, it's like, these things,
is there any such thing as too anal?
They have an operator... They have a guy that turns it off manually. Yep. Like, he looks at his watch and turns these rides off. You put yourself in something you are going to die in.
Now, maybe, like,
unless you want to roll out when it gets close to the ground.
I've had a lot of job titles in my day. One of them has not been carny, so I don't know. I'm not speaking from experience. Maybe they have some kind of safety backup where, like, they will only go for a certain amount of time if nobody shuts them down.
You weren't qualified for the fair because you had too many teeth and fingers?
Yeah, that's why. Too good a hygiene, I think that's what they said on the application.
No, I think it was the toddler, the baby Bjorn he had strapped to
him. But yeah, it's that plan just seemed like really bad, like a really bad idea. I'm like, really, I understand that you want, you want to make your sister happy, but let's give your sister some credit. She's not a complete idiot. She'll probably understand that you're in the middle of a fucking zombie apocalypse, that this might not be the best time to try going to an amusement park. And why the fuck would you try to go to an amusement park anyway?
Yeah, we've already established that the bell outside of a store, tiny little touch of the bell brings a zombie running towards you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
not
and
really thinking about that.
You think that she would, like, let the kid go on the ride and only turn on one ride at a time to minimize the noise. Like, at the least, you would be like, okay, we're going to go on this one ride and, like, minimize the amount of noise and danger. Like, it would still be stupid, but at least have some sense of precaution if you're going to show no precaution. But, yeah, these girls are stupid, and they don't trust people. They're, like, sociopaths.
Mm-hmm. Okay, who else got something that bothered them about this movie?
My final dislike, since my first final dislike was the what you were just mentioning, how stupid the girls are. So my dislike will be Bill Murray thinking it would be funny to scare a twitchy armed kid. I mean, it was hilarious, but seriously, nobody saw this as a potential outcome.
No, he's a bunny,
remember? You think Tallahassee would be like, all right, Bill, you go do this thing. First, I'm going to grab his gun. I'm going to get in there nice and quiet like. I'm going to take his gun from him so he can't, shoot you. And then, like, we're just going to watch him freak out. Like, that would have saved Bill Murray's life. Mm-hmm. I mean, Tallahassee was in on this, and he should have known, like, this kid is twitchy, and he never leaves his gun away from him. So we should deal with that if I want to save the life of my idol and hero.
Yeah, I debated whether or not that scene was a like or a dislike, and I'm like, no, I got to put it on my likes list because that was the funniest scene in this movie. So.
Oh, yeah. It didn't make a lot of sense, but he sold it really well.
Yeah.
I mean, like, if you wanted to find a better way to kill Bill Murray, I would have gone with that. It's just that this showed, like, such an absolute absence of thought, and the person in on it knows the target, how he reacts, and that he never leaves his gun away from him. Like, he knows that he's a neurotic survivor. Yeah, like, if you want to find another way to kill Bill Murray, that it would have been less stupid. But yeah, they did save it with that long.
No, there's good listening.
Yeah. It's good pod right there.
Yeah.
Okay, so are we all done?
I'm through with my dislikes.
Yeah. Now, I didn't have anything for this category, but I think you guys might have. So, tell me something that perplexed you, that you had no description, you had no way of identifying as a like or a dislike, but something that just left you confused. Tell me if you had a what the fuck.
Ivan, you want to go?
Yeah, I'll kick this one off. So I mentioned earlier that song, That Feels So Good by Chuck Mangione, really setting the contrast between the humor and the seriousness. But how in the world did that radio have a signal coming to it? I mean, is there somebody that's just out there, doing the DJ thing for Zombieland? I mean,
yeah, it's the sisters from Night of the Comet.
Yeah, that was my first what the fuck. I'm not buying that.
Yeah. Yeah, there's probably not a lot of radio stations broadcasting more than a week after the the apocalypse happens, but
it's supposed to be 2 months after the apocalypse happened, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, WPKX is still going strong. How about you, Mike? You had any what the fucks?
Yeah, it's an atrocity that this 12-year-old little girl, Little Rock, doesn't know Gandhi or Bill Murray, which to me is a burning indictment of the American education system. And but somehow when they get to Pacific Playland, Wichita uses her to drop a Phil Simms Disneyland reference, like, you just survived the mutant apocalypse, the zombie apocalypse, what are you going to do now? I'm going to Pacific Playland! It's like, really? You're dropping like a football commercial from the 80s on this girl who doesn't know Gandhi or Bill Murray?
Yeah.
Like, that left me scratching my head, like, what kind of bubble is this girl in? Unless she grew up in a world where her dad is just a sports fan, and she only picked up old highlight reels of like Howard Cosell and shit from the 70s and 80s. Like that's her wellspring of popular culture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I gotta say that scene when she said that she doesn't know who Bill Murray or Gandhi is, it leads into like something that drives me fucking crazy. Like when I'm talking to a younger person, like one of my nieces or nephews or something like that, and if I mention a movie or a song and they say they've never heard of it, and it's fine to not hear of it, like whoever it's a celebrity, if you don't know them, that's fine. But it drives me fucking crazy when I say, oh, it's a song from 1980 whatever, a movie in 1980. Oh, well, I don't know anything about that. That's from before I was born. I'm like,
yeah. So you only listen to shit that came out after you did?
Because that bugs the hell out of me. I had a kid tell me once he didn't know asked me what a thimble was, and I had to explain to him what a thimble is, and he's like, well, I was like, how do you not know what a thimble is? Well, why would I know what a thimble is? I've never used one before. It's like, no, like I've never used a space shuttle before, but I know what it is.
Another blast from the past there, right?
Yeah, like
who fixes clothes
and
just buy new ones?
I don't know. It's just something about it that bugs me, because I guess maybe because I like as a kid, like I just had weird interests and I loved old movies and old music and everything, stuff that was way before my time. So I guess I just don't get it when I hear a kid say like, "Oh, it's something from the '80s," so I don't know anything about it. It's like,
well, I guess you'll never watch Jurassic Park, you fucking little asshole.
yeah, like you've never been on the internet and saw a video that's like, about something that's from before you were born. Like that's, especially this day and age where we have such access to everything.
Yeah, you have the sum of human history at your fingertips. But
yeah.
you put like a Google block on anything before 1995.
So I just It's always a peeve of mine. I don't know why it bothers me so much, just but it really does.
And we're back with the bitter middle-aged man. God, I fucked that up.
Old man yells at clown.
Bitter, middle-aged old man. Oh well.
Bitter-aged mole gay.
Sounded better in my head.
Back in my day.
It's that midlife Alzheimer's kicking in.
Oh well.
How do you know so
Anyway.
much about history? I pieced most of it together from sugar packets. Yeah.
So I got just one more what the fuck, and I understand this is crucial to the end of the plot, but how in the world does Pacific Playland still have power?
Yeah.
Murray Mansion still has power. I mean, there's lights everywhere.
Yeah.
I guess power plants are automated.
Yeah,
They don't need workers.
Yeah, the windmills are still going or something.
Yeah, I mean, okay, somebody's house, like Bill Murray, like has a mansion, like, is it possible he's got a wind turbine or solar panels or something? I mean, that's not impossible,
Yeah, maybe.
but that's still, I doubt that's the case for, like, a huge amusement park.
Right. Where you just go in, you flick the switch, and
Yeah.
and everything's on.
The Ferris wheel is a windmill. It just happens to also have seats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, no, that's a good one.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, that's all I had. I was just going to say, that's a great point.
I just gotta say, like, it's hard to believe that these 4 people and Bill Murray are the only survivors. Like, and these people are kind of dumb. Like, wouldn't there be like some sensible people in this wasteland?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's funny you should mention that because I did a little research and asked a few people online if they knew, could give me some details that I might be able to bring up about this movie. And they said that it's not included on the DVD features, but there is actually a deleted scene out there that was about 3 other survivors in the Zombpocalypse. It was just one scene that they added. You get to see these 3 people, and it got cut out because they said it kind of they were going to do it for just the sake of humor, to show like a brief glimpse of some other survivors, but they cut it out because it kind of it stuck out from the rest of the movie. It didn't really fit that well, so they decided to get rid of it. But I did manage to talk to some people, and someone got me a copy of this scene, and I think it would be perfect for this week's It Came from the Cutting Room Floor.
Guys, this isn't good. We're out of food. If we stay here, we starve. I've already eaten one of my shoes.
Look, we can't leave here. We can't leave this building. We've got no ammo. There's zombies everywhere.
Hey, guys, they have to eat too. If we wait a little longer, maybe they'll pass out from hunger or something.
How do you know that will happen? They may last a lot longer than we will.
I don't know. It's dangerous. I don't want to end up like Brandon.
Yeah, I try to tell them that just because they're trying to eat us, trying to eat them isn't a logical course of action.
Oh, you mean Brendan from the Taste Test? Part of Playing with Power, the retrospective Nintendo Power podcast?
Yeah, what other Brandon would we mean? I think he's losing it, dude. We gotta leave.
And go where? There's no safe path out there.
If there was only something to distract the zombies. Guys, you might want to see this.
What the hell? Pacific Playland's all lit up. Somebody must be there. I told you guys I heard a car drive by.
All the zombies, they're heading there. They're distracted by the sound. That's it. That's our distraction. Let's go.
Hey, we have to go to Pacific Playland.
What? Why? Why the hell would we go there?
Because there's people there with cars. They may be our ticket out of here.
He's got a point.
Okay. I guess that makes sense. Let's go.
Alright, wait. Put on these zombie disguises.
Why?
Come on, you don't know if that'll work.
Hey, you remember the other day we saw a zombie playing golf? I'm telling you, that was a guy disguised as a zombie. They didn't bother him. Let's do this.
Okay, well, all right, fine. At least till we get there. Okay, everyone. On the count of 3, we shamble through the horde and make contact.
Okay. All right, we're making it to the gate. We just got to get through. Wait, do you hear the sound of a Hummer behind us?
Oh shit! Someone else is here. Flag him
Hey!
down.
Over here!
Hey, over here, we need help.
Someone inside needs help. We can help you. Guys, he's not slowing down. Oh shit, we're still wearing the zombie disguises. Take them.
Oh,
Oh god, that hurt.
my brain.
I'm still alive. Okay, he'll help us when he hears us talk. He stopped. Okay, we'll just tell him that we're. Oh fuck, no, he's backing up. No, stop, please. Wow. So, well, at least now we know a bit of backstory against some characters we did see, but didn't quite recognize.
Yeah, we saw another aspect of Tallahassee. It's not just
Yeah, well, I
the
guess he
zombies
didn't.
that he takes out.
I guess he didn't know. I guess there's some
Anybody in his
downsides
path?
to. There's some danger to using Bill Murray's zombie survival method.
It got him killed. It got him killed, and it got his 3 students killed.
I was thinking, like, since he knew Bill Murray's technique worked, why didn't the rest of them try that? I almost put it on my dislikes list, but now after considering everyone that's tried it seemed to wind up dead, maybe it's not such a good idea.
They always get killed by Tallahassee and Columbus.
Yeah. It's too bad, though. I would have liked to see more of these characters. They sounded like they would have been very interesting characters. I think I would have enjoyed them.
There would have been room in the trunk of the Hummer for them.
I would like to have heard more from that Brandon guy. He sounded interesting.
The whole thing just seemed a little familiar.
Yeah.
There. Okay, so Mike, now I thought that this was super funny. I've seen this movie a few times. I saw it when it was in theater, and I've watched it a few times since that. But I thought it was incredibly funny watching it this most recent time. That this movie had a certain segment that's very familiar to a segment that you like to do on this show.
Yeah. I started to wonder, like, wait a second, did I subconsciously rip this off? And I'd have to say maybe no, because we keep doing it. They only did it a time or two. And we just don't let it go, so... different evolutionary... It's not an evolutionary divergence. It's like an evolutionary similarity.
Imitation is the highest form of flattery, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so... this, which takes us to this week's Kill of the Week. Which goes to the Kill of the Week. We got the nun, who is not dressed up as a nun so much, just like an old school teacher, and she's chased by a zombie, and she leads him to the door, and then pulls a rope and drops a motherfucking piano on him.
Straight out of Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
Anytime you pull a Looney Tunes homage, you have me. Like when South Park did that episode of Bin Laden, where basically Cartman is Bugs Bunny, and Bin Laden's like this old like 1940s Japanese caricature, but Arabic, and they do all this bullshit like blowing up with dynamite. And he's got like piano key teeth, and he's falling up for like a 10-year-old boy in a dress, or a burqa or whatever he's dressed up as. Like, and yeah, it's racist and it's awful, but you're pulling from the greats.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had in my notes that this was Mike's kind of nun. She can take care of business.
I guess when it comes to falling prey to the hordes of the undead, she's having none of it.
I thought, because I was trying to think, like, good kills. Like, that's definitely, like, they played it up for Kill of the Week, so it was definitely a great one. I thought maybe you might go for, during the beginning of the movie, the woman flying out of the windshield of the van.
Yeah, with the Beanie Babies flying all over the place.
Yeah. Especially since you see her, like, face make contact with the pavement.
Ooh. Oh, she does, like, that double bounce.
Yeah.
Yeah, with that excellent blood splatter.
Oh,
Yep.
that smear.
Like a nice little snail trail behind her.
That's right.
But as soon as I remembered about, like, oh, this movie actually has a kill of the week, that's going to be Mike's pick.
It really couldn't be anything else.
Yeah.
Kismet.
So that, I did a little research into the kill of the week, and that was actually a leftover for when the guy that wrote this movie, he actually pushed it as a TV pilot first, a TV show pilot, and which would actually feature a kill of the week on each episode.
This would have made a perfect series. You could visit a city, any state.
You'd think that, but after the success of this movie, they actually tried that. It lasted one episode.
What?
There is actually a pilot episode of a Zombieland TV show.
What?
Originally, like I said, he wrote it intending it to be a TV show that was going to include a kill of the week each episode. Instead, they maneuvered it into a movie. Once he pitched it to some execs, they decided to opt it as a movie. And after the movie came out and was successful, they decided to do a TV show. First mistake for the TV show is they had a different cast of characters.
Oh,
They had the same characters. Sorry, the same characters, different actors.
that's fucking stupid.
Yeah, that's the first mistake. I didn't see it, but apparently it wasn't very good. It was I can't remember if it was a Netflix show or an Amazon show. But whichever, they made the pilot, they released the pilot, and then they axed it.
That's terrible. But at least we're getting a Zombieland too, right?
We're supposed to, but that's been in development for quite a while. I've been hearing about Zombieland 2 for at least like 3 years now.
Well, in the Wikipedia it says from March 2017, the script has been completed. And these two guys, Wernick and Reese,
Right.
said it is an active development. We're getting it going. Rumit is signed on. It's a matter of making deals and making a budget number.
Well,
all the cast have become superstars now. We made Zombieland with $20 million. It's trying to fit that financial model into the sequel, blah, blah, blah. We see Tom Rothman frequently. We're pestering that dude. And we're pestering him the way we pestered Fox on Deadpool. We're not letting it go. We really want to see Zombieland 2. So these guys are pushing for it like hell.
Well, I hope it happens, because I could definitely go for a Zombieland sequel right about now.
Absolutely. Same writers, same director, same actors. It'd be awesome.
So as long as they have the same actors, I don't want to see anyone replace.
Yeah, I don't want to see anybody but Woody Harrelson in particular.
Yeah. So that is our coverage of Zombieland, guys. So I think we're all unanimous. We would definitely recommend this one.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, you're looking for a good horror comedy, then, and if you're not like a big-time horror fan, but you're okay with something that's got horror leanings, this is definitely the one for you. So one thing I got to ask about this one, because what do you think of the zombies in this? Because, when it comes to zombie movies, we're usually getting one of the two. We're either getting the slow, shambling, like Romero / Walking Dead, like actual undead, or we're getting the still alive but infected, kind of like rabid human type of zombies.
Right, this was the World War Z type zombie.
Yeah, like the fast-paced, running at you like kind of full force in most cases, depending on depending on the speed they needed the zombies to be on each particular scene.
Right.
The zombie speeds seem to vary, but usually I'm more of a undead, slow zombie type of person. That's how I like my zombies. But I'm okay with this type of zombie as well. Like, as long as it's done right.
Yeah, I'm more in favor of this type of zombie, to be honest.
Like the infected person, right?
Yeah,
more so than the undead.
It seems, I mean, you hesitate to call something like this any kind of realistic, but if there was some kind of a virus, we can all imagine a virus that could go global.
Yeah.
And cause, various problems. that are similar to what you might call a zombie.
Yeah.
It seems a little bit closer to what could theoretically be reality.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you're in a state of hyper-adrenaline where you're just, everything is a meal and you got to eat and you got to get there fast. And
Right.
Yeah. If you're, not that I would say either one is likely, but this type of infected rabid human is definitely more likely.
yeah, and do we know if they're even dead or if they're just,
I don't think so.
living but
I-
psycho?
They're specifically described as infected. These are technically living people who just have a bad virus. Yeah, they're killing real people by their own description.
I would be the same thing.
Well, yeah. I mean, you kind of gotta at that point. There's no going to the science lab to mix up a cure or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I appreciated the zombies. I think also when you've got that zombie that's more physically capable, it increases the threat. You feel more fear for the character instead of just, I can just a brisk walk away from this one thing.
You can. I think I mentioned before is like the type of zombies that you can kind of speed walk away from.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah. No, these are not. These are not shambling. These are run at you full force, tackle you like a football player type zombies.
Right.
So cool. No, that's good. I'm all right. I know there's some purists out there that really get ticked off. That like, I mean, there's bumper stickers that exist that say "Fast zombies suck."
Yeah, that's
it is polarizing.
Oh, did you guys ever hear about the prank that George Romero pulled on Zack Snyder regarding that?
no.
Well, you know that Zack Snyder directed the 2004 Dawn of the Dead remake. And the big change that he made to this movie was that he made the zombies fast. Even though they were undead zombies, like, they were actually dead people wanting to eat the flesh of the living, he made them fast, which was what killed the movie for a lot of people. The rest of the setup, they changed the characters. It wasn't the same cast, so like the characters were all different. Basically, the only connection that it had to the original Dawn of the Dead was that it took place in the shop. It was a zombie apocalypse movie, and it took place in a shopping mall. But so Zack Snyder directed it. I think George Romero was like signed on, like just in title only. He was executive producer. But one day he went where they were filming and visited the set and everything like that, and was talking to everybody. And Snyder said that very day, just as they were wrapping up shooting, as everyone was leaving, every single car that was in the parking lot of the set had a bumper sticker stuck to the back of it that said, "Fast zombies suck." And he said even though he never ever admitted to it, he's pretty certain that it was Romero that did it. So I always thought that was pretty cool. Romero sticking it to Zack Snyder. So
subtle.
Yeah. I wonder if there's anybody on the set of Justice League sticking DC movies suck on the back of all the cars.
Yeah. Affleck? Really? This 2-word bumper sticker.
Oh. This could be I could get into. This could be an episode of a whole nother podcast, so I'm not going to get into it right now.
Go down the rabbit
bad
hole.
fleck, more like bad fleck.
Yep. Good one, Mike.
Yeah. Hey, just like DC Studios, I'm stretching.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Well, that's our coverage of Zombieland. Hope you enjoyed it. That's wraps up the movie coverage for this episode, but we're not done just yet because we want to hear from you. You have a movie suggestion for us, questions, comments, have your own zompocalypse survival tips, let us know. You got a couple ways of doing that. You can reach us by email at graveyardshiftpod@gmail.com. You can reach out to us and follow us on Twitter at GYS_horrorpod. And you can get us on Facebook at facebook.com/thegraveyardshiftpod. If you'd like to make a donation to the show to help out with the maintenance and promotion, you can go to www.patreon.com/graveyard. Any donation gives you access to our Patreon exclusive bonus episodes. We do one once a month, and it's exclusively for Patreon donors. But of course, not everybody has the money to give us money. You can still help out the show a ton. The best way to do that would be to go on iTunes, rate, review, subscribe. In the long run, that's what helps out the show the most. So if you could do that, we would definitely appreciate it. If you do give us a rating or you subscribe, let us know. We will definitely give you a shout out on the show. And if that's not an option for you, you can just do what you're doing right now. Listen to our podcast, share it on social media, share it by word of mouth with friends that you think will be interested. Just keep listening whichever way you're ingesting our podcast right now. Just keep it up. We really do appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. We're very happy with the way things are going. We're getting every week our downloads increase, our Twitter followers increase. Twitter is actually going nuts. We're going up about close to 100 followers on Twitter a week.
Wow.
So that's insane. I really love that. Like every day there's just more and more, and it really makes me happy. So thank you guys for that. And not just following us, just for like, you guys are very interactive with us. We're getting lots of messages, lots of retweets, lots of comments on our tweets. We really do appreciate it. We love you guys. Now, Mike, if somebody wanted to hear more of those velvety smooth tones like Ivan talked about earlier, how could you go about doing that?
You can check out the Playing with Power podcast. It's me and my buddies. We read and discuss an issue of Nintendo Power magazine every week in chronological order until we either run out of issues or we reach the completion of its run. And I'm due to be recording that tonight, so I'm looking forward to that. Mm-hmm. And on that same feed, you can also get a little bonus show every now and then of the taste test, where me and a friend Brandon, and recently our new co-host Ivan, gets to discuss old Nintendo games or Nintendo era games. So, we may throw in a Sega game, whatever everybody can get and play. And we'll just talk about these old little gems from the past that we never got to explore as kids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you're a fan of retro Nintendo games, or if you're like me and had a subscription to Nintendo Power back in the day, check it out. I think you'll enjoy it. I know I certainly do. And Ivan, like if people want to hear more of you, that's a good way for them to do that, because you've after made a few appearances now, right, on both those shows.
Yeah, I've had a very good time. Mike, Brandon, and I. It's a very loose show, loosely tied to food, with substitutions and coming back for seconds. But we have a very good time playing these old games and discussing them, among other things that we discuss.
Well, that's good. Like, then now we got you on this show too, so I hope you had a good time tonight.
Oh, I had a fabulous time. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for suggesting good movies. So seriously, good job. Like, we really enjoyed having you here, and good chat, and we'll definitely get you back on sometime. But that's for another time. Until then, I'm Sheldon.
And I'm Mike.
And please come back and see us again on The Graveyard Shift.
Gamer needs food badly. Sorry. Yeah, wrong podcast.
Yeah, it sounded a little familiar. There's something about it that it had an air of familiarity. Too many pills.